All right, let's dive into a really fascinating legal battle. We're talking police raids, big tobacco, and a counterfeit case that climbed all the way to the Supreme Court of the Philippines. And it's a story that really gets into what it takes to even bring a case to trial in the first place. So, our story kicks off back in August of 2004. Police in the Philippines get this tip from a private investigator who's actually working for a couple of major tobacco companies. And the target? It's a local firm called Forietrans Manufacturing. They're suspected of making and stashing counterfeit cigarettes in their warehouses. You know, the Philippines Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, the CIDG, they acted fast. On August 4th, they get a warrant, they raid the warehouses looking for knockoff Davidoffs. But here's the thing, they weren't done. The very next day, they were back with another warrant, this time for counterfeit mild 7 cigarettes. And what they found, according to the police reports, was a whole manufacturing operation. They seized finished cigarette packs with the names Davidoff and mild 7 on them, raw materials like tobacco, and, this is critical, the machinery to actually make them, along with a bunch of sales invoices and receipts. So this raid basically kicks off a huge legal fight. On one side, you've got these two global tobacco giants, Davidoff from Switzerland and Japan Tobacco Inc., or JTI. And on the other side, you have the local company, Forietrans, which is of course claiming it's a totally legitimate business. So based on everything seized in that raid, Forietrans gets hit with 2 main charges. First up, trademark infringement, the idea that they were creating packaging so similar to Davidoff and mild 7 that it would obviously confuse people. And second, false designation of origin, basically slapping a Made in Germany label on their Dodge cigarettes when they were supposedly being made right there in the Philippines. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. This is the side-by-side comparison that was shown in court. This was the heart of Davidoff's case. I mean, just look at the similarities. The octagonal pack shape, the black and red colors, the silver details, even the manufacturing code stamped on the bottom. The text on the back is almost a carbon copy, just swapping skillfully blended for professionally blended. Pretty close, right? So with evidence that looks like that, you'd probably think this is going to be an open and shut case. While what happened next was a massive, totally unexpected twist. The case got completely shut down, and not just once, but twice. First, the provincial prosecutor looked at it and dismissed all the complaints against Forietrans. So the tobacco companies appealed, but then the Secretary of Justice reviewed the case and agreed with the prosecutor. The case was, for all intents and purposes, dead in the water. So why? Why was it dismissed? Well, their thinking boiled down to 3 things. First off, they argued that the names Davidoff and Davidoff just weren't similar enough to be confusing. Second, they said there wasn't any real proof that the Made in Germany label was false. And finally, and this one is kind of wild, they just flat out didn't believe any mild 7 cigarettes were actually seized, pointing to what they called messy police reports. Okay, so Davidoff and JTI have had their case thrown out by 2 different offices. Their backs are against the wall. They've got one last shot. They take their fight to the Court of Appeals, arguing that these dismissals were just fundamentally wrong. And this, right here, is where the whole story flips on its head. The Court of Appeals takes a look, and they see things completely differently. They reversed the earlier decisions and ordered that the case against Forietrans must go to trial. And their reason? Well, it had less to do with the evidence itself and everything to do with the role that the Secretary of Justice had played. They used this really powerful legal concept called grave abuse of discretion. It's basically like a legal emergency brake, right? It means a public official used their power in a way that was so flawed or arbitrary that it was like they refused to do their actual job. The court was essentially saying, hey, you didn't just make a mistake, you went way outside your job description here. Well, of course, Forietrans appealed again, this time taking the fight to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court of the Philippines. And the Supreme Court didn't just decide the case, they used it as an opportunity to deliver a masterclass on a really crucial legal principle for everyone. The Supreme Court clarified that there are 2 very different jobs in the justice system. A prosecutor's job is simply to find probable cause. All they have to ask is there enough evidence here to justify having a trial? A trial judge's job, on the other hand, is to weigh all that evidence to figure out if someone is actually guilty or innocent. 2 totally different things. And here's a really great way to think about it. Finding probable cause is like making a movie trailer. The prosecutor just has to show enough compelling clips to convince a judge that, yeah, there's a full story here we're seeing in court. The trial itself, that's the full movie. where every single detail gets examined. And this was the absolute heart of the Supreme Court's ruling. They said the Secretary of Justice got it wrong because he acted like a trial judge, or maybe a film critic, giving a full review based on just the trailer. He was weighing the evidence, deciding what he believed and what he didn't, when his only job was to decide if there was enough there to simply start the trial. This just perfectly illustrates the core issue the court recognized. As they so brilliantly put it, the best counterfeiters don't make exact copies. They make stuff with enough similarities to fool you, the public, but with just enough tiny differences to create legal doubt and confuse the courts. So, in the end, the Supreme Court's decision wasn't about whether Forietrans was guilty or innocent. It was about upholding the proper process. It affirmed that the trailer, all that evidence from the raid, was more than enough to warrant a full movie, a trial. And that leaves us with a final thought, right? The court restored the right to a fair process. But what do you think happens when that trial finally begins?